entering the market and established companies expanding their offerings. Today on the show, we'll take a closer look at the Nigerian insurance market and explore some of the trends and challenges that insurance are likely to face in the coming years. My guest will be Mr. Adiola Imani. But first, we take some business highlights before we move on to the interview segment of the program. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, has urged the Apex Bank to grant a no objection approval for the BDCs to go digital on all their operational correspondences entirely and promote economic growth. He said APCON had in the past led its members to achieve rate convergence in 2006, 2009. Granting digital economy to the operators will lead to a trend to promote effective monitoring of BDC transactions for statutory and regulatory requirements. And the 11 electricity distribution companies discussed earned a total of 263.08 billion naira compared to 247.33 billion. According to the National Bureau of Statistics report, on a year-on-year basis, revenue generated in the reference period rose by 39.63% from 188.41 billion naira recorded in Q2 2022. Electricity supply in the period under review was 5,900 from 5,857 gigawatts reported in Q2 2022. The report showed that Ibadan Disco had the highest number of metered customers in the period, followed by Ikeja and Abuja, while the estimated billing, and this is followed by Enugu and Benin Distribution Company. To get in contact with our program today, please stay with us. To take a look at the insurance sector is Mr. Adiola Imani, an insurance expert. Thank you so much, Mr. Imani, for joining us on Business Today.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you, Bias.
Shown that the insurance sector returned to a growth path after expanding by 8.29% in the second quarter of 2023. This is compared to 7.25% in the first quarter of the year. Mr. Imani, you would agree that this is cheering news to the sector, would you say?
Of course, it's a heartwarming news. It's something we have to commend Nigerians getting more conscious about insurance and the need to insure properties and the likes. It is a cheering news. It's a welcome development. Of course, there's a huge room for improvement. The growth we record, the growth recorded as you alluded to, is it's the reason I may not be too enthusiastic about this comparing to that of last year was because of how low it has always been before and the performance of the economy last year. Of course, insurance is not different from a larger economic environment. So it is a welcome development. Albeit small, it is something commendable.
All right, so what do you think has contributed to this growth in the...
With the change of government, and there are some people to slow down economic activities, waiting to see how things pan out, and I think largely the economy is recovering, but it's getting back to stability, having known the direction of government.
All right, now for players in the insurance sector, which you are one, Would you say that the administration of President Tinubu is going in the right direction as regards the insurance sector, as regards the economy in general?
Yes, insurance is about uncertainty. It is a hope of last resort, and when we bring people into insurance or to take insurance policies, is to say that to transfer your risk, and because when people are faced with huge level of risk, and the insurance company that are supposed to transfer those risks are also sitting at risk, then people decide to carry their risk on their own. We haven't seen the growth path of government and the private sector driven governance that the new president is bringing on board. I think there's a predictability of sustenance of policy that insurance industry and that informed that growth. People can actually, the major challenge in Nigeria is stability of policy and consistency of policy that we have suffered in the past. And even if people, private sector will not ordinarily understand or had not been able to understand which direction the government is moving because of inconsistency of, of policies. But haven't come out to state that the government, his government is going to be driven by private sector, and private sector seeing opportunities both home and abroad to stability and consistency. And one can easily forecast that the last quarter of the year that we are getting close, that we are stepping in next month, we have a full blown of the economic drive, having private sector activity and participation in the whole process. So it has strived or is striving because of the policies of government that actually encourage participation in economy. And so the participation will make everything, the whole value chain of the economy to fall in place. And one can predict the next move because of policy consistency when we understand where the government is going.
And I'm talking about government policy. I would want us to talk about the fuel subsidy removal.
Yourself, you have to go through the process yourself all over again. And this keeps slowing us down, and it makes us transfer poverty from one generation to the other. One, we're supposed to transfer wealth, because in the saner climate where things work effectively, even when you lose your loved one, this, I mean, of course, physically you don't have the loved one around. The family benefits more in terms of the insurance. They don't go into penury. Here, when we lose loved one or the breadwinner of a family, we lose the money that was supposed to come in. We have to raise money for burial and everything. This thing takes a whole lot. And we have a culture that spends so much on burial, but still we do not see the need to have quality insurance for people that we lose. We have properties. We have those who have good shops, and when there's a case of to have this, and I think government will have to put measures in place to increase the pool of compulsory insurances, because most of these things comes back to government. Most of the things we blame government on will have been sorted with a good insurance in place. When you see fire outbreak in a particular market, you need to come and help us out, and they will blame government for not helping because there was a fire incident. But if there's an insurance in place for that kind of money, for everybody who has a shop in that market, there's no point calling the government. There's nothing emotional about it. Let the insurance come in and pay claims. But we get emotional with so many things here. We get people who we need to sort us out from our children's school fees resuming now, because we don't even have a plan for the children's school fees insurance for that. So we have that over reliance and entitlement mindset in this part of the world that feel that we have a substitute for insurance. And so we self-insurance ourselves likely, which has affected our growth, it has affected the consistency of our economy. Because there is no measure to keep and sustain the level of the living they have commanded for themselves. So it is something that Nigerians need to change the culture.
I want us to, before I come back to talk about the Nigerians, I want us to talk about the motor insurance rate. And what brought me to this question is the ability of Nigerians. And one of
for the industry this year, it has affected because, like I mentioned, the low purchasing power of an average Nigerian and taking the compulsory insurance from 5,000 to 15,000. Thought for that was well thought out because we understand because of the economic realities. Like I said, insurance is not services, and even vehicles are going higher. Spare parts are going realistically. Every vehicle user now understand that it's almost double of what, or if not triple, of what it parts. The case of accidents. By the time you do it for 5,000 naira for one, the 1 million naira may not even be able to take care of the spare parts. So it was before the incident, and that was the purpose of insurance. So the third party vehicle, and it's not, what we lose, what we stand to lose, so mandatory, and an average customer or client to the regulating body. If you have a third party vehicle validly done and you were not paid or you have it
the
dragged,
equivalent.
yeah, so you can easily say it's an information age. You can easily report to the regulator, so provided your claim is valid. And that was why third party insurance was made happen. If it happened on somebody, he won't say that he has no money to sort it out his group.
Our time is fast spent. And lastly, before you leave on the program, and challenges and trust in insurance product, many